The eldest sister said she had been reborn, knowing the events of the next 10 years. After verifying a few things, the whole family was in an uproar. Father inquired about his official career, the legal mother sought wealth, the second sister wished to climb the social ladder, and the elder brother aspired to become a young general. The eldest sister, holding no grudges, wholeheartedly planned for them. I tugged on my elder sister's dress. What about Nyo? My elder sister turned around and crouched down, her eyes reddening. As long as Nyo eats obediently every day, that's already very good. My elder sister, who had been on a hunger strike, suddenly started eating again and even had a servant deliver a message to our father. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful stories every day. Now, the story begins. Tell father and mother that I am a reborn person, aware of the events of the next 10 years, and can help the Yoon family ascend the path to success. After leaving the eldest sister's room, father and the legal mother hurriedly left the residence. Within less than an hour, news came back. Father went for a walk by the river and encountered the heir who had accidentally fallen into the water. He immediately offered assistance and was invited by Prince Hui as a guest of honor. The legal mother returned to her maiden home and happened to encounter her sister-in-law giving birth. After learning the baby's birth date, she hurriedly returned. As the sky grew dark, I came as usual to the room where my eldest sister was confined, wanting to keep her company and talk with her. I had just called out eldest sister when the sound of hurried, chaotic footsteps arose. Father, the legal wife, my second sister, and my eldest brother hastily unlocked the door and pushed their way in. Summoning my courage, I followed them inside. The eldest sister sat at the table, calmly sipping her tea. It's all verified. The time and place of the young masters fall into the water and the birth date of our little cousin. Father turned and closed the door, breathing rapidly. Heaven truly blesses our Yoon family. Lana, the current emperor is bedridden with illness. In the next 10 years, will a new emperor ascend the throne? Which one will it be? The eldest sister held up 2 fingers. Father, you must choose sides early. Father was momentarily stunned. Then his gaze deepened as he stroked his beard. So it's him, not many support him now. I must seize the opportunity before others. The stepmother's eyes lit up, and she gently took the eldest sister's hand. Lana, your father is going to become a high-ranking official soon, and he will certainly need money for various expenses. Do you have any ideas for raising funds? The eldest sister smiled and nodded, then took out a sheet of Xian paper and drew a map with a brush. There is an iron mine in the eastern mountains, and no one knows about it yet. Mother, you could hire people to mine it. Once the family's finances are sufficient, presenting it to His Majesty would also be a great achievement. This is excellent. Father clapped his hands together, his eyes gleaming. The stepmother smiled at the eldest sister with a look that said, "You know what's good for you." The second sister, Yoonshu, glanced at the stepmother, bit her lip, and blushed. Eldest sister. How could I possibly marry above my station? I looked at the second sister in surprise. She usually called the eldest sister by her name directly, but today she was being so polite. How unusual. The eldest sister seemed to have forgotten the second sister's usual arrogant and domineering demeanor. After pondering seriously for a moment, she picked up a pen and wrote down a prescription. In the previous life, during the Plum Blossom Festival, a woman in red danced in the snow. The second prince fell in love with her at first sight and made her his princess. Later, when the second prince ascended the throne, she became the queen who reigned supreme in the harem. Follow this prescription to make pills. Place one in your navel daily to make your body slender, your skin as smooth as congealed fat, and your face as radiant as peach blossoms. When the Plum Blossom Festival arrives, wear red and go to perform a dance. In the future, you will surely become the queen of a nation. The second sister's face lit up with ecstasy, gazing at the prescription before her as if it were a rare treasure. Father looked up, his face full of hope. If Shua becomes the empress, then I will be the emperor's father-in-law, and I'll be the emperor's brother-in-law. Eldest brother Yunhao grinned foolishly, showing his teeth. Eldest sister glanced over, a trace of cold light flashing in her smiling eyes. What's so great about being the emperor's brother-in-law? There's another opportunity more suitable for eldest brother. The eldest brother instantly perked up. What? The eldest sister smiled warmly. In 3 months, there will be a battle certain to be won. The one who leads the troops can make a name for themselves in this single battle and become a household name as a young general. A young general. The eldest brother flushed with excitement. Eldest brother has loved martial arts since childhood and now serves as a palace guard. Becoming a young general is his dream. Father patted eldest brother's shoulder with a pleased expression. Once I gain the second prince's trust, I will surely lend you a hand." Watching my family's faces flush with excitement, I clenched my fists, mustered my courage, and shouted, "Since big sister has helped everyone, let's not make her marry the old eunuch." The room instantly fell silent. The entire family's expressions changed abruptly. Half a month ago, Chief Eunuch De from Consort Shu's palace went out to make purchases and encountered the eldest sister selling embroidery. He took a fancy to the eldest sister's embroidery, and to the person as well. A few days later, he came to the mansion to propose, wanting to secretly marry the eldest sister outside the palace. Father was unwilling at first. After all, who would want to marry their daughter to a rootless eunuch? But the legal wife persuaded him. Eunuch De is a favorite of Consort Shu and an old-timer who watched the fourth prince grow up in the palace. We cannot afford to offend him. Moreover, if Lana marries into that family and serves De Gonggong well, it would mean the Yun family has a presence in the imperial harem. In the future, if any good opportunities arise, De Gonggong might think of the Yun family. Eldest brother also said, if we manage to connect with Consort Shu, I might benefit as well, and life in the palace could become much easier. After weighing the pros and cons, father decided to sacrifice eldest sister to satisfy De Gonggong. Second sister, upon hearing the news, volunteered to come to our courtyard to persuade eldest sister. As soon as she arrived, she had the servants force my elder sister to kneel on the ground. "Yunlan, you are truly fortunate to have caught the favor of De Gonggong. I advise you to obediently agree, lest you suffer. My elder sister and I are the children of a concubine. Since our mother passed away, we have become even lower than the servants in this household, constantly subjected to torment by the legal wife and our second sister." Normally in such situations, the eldest sister would obediently agree, just to avoid giving the second sister an excuse to make a scene, but this time, the eldest sister glared back fiercely. "Would you want this blessing if it were offered to you? I will never marry that old eunuch." The second sister curled her lips. "Such a stubborn mouth. Slap her for me." The crisp sound of slaps echoed through the courtyard. I wanted to go save my elder sister, but I was kicked back into the room and locked inside, left to cry helplessly. Second sister, having thoroughly enjoyed herself, let out a scornful laugh. "Who are you putting on this act for?" Mother said, "Whether you agree or not, in 7 days, Eunuch De will come with the betrothal gifts to take you away. Stop struggling." Second sister left with her people. I knocked on the door for a long time before elder sister finally came to open it. Seeing my elder sister covered in blood, I held her tightly, tears streaming down like rain. "Elder sister, let's go find father. Father will stand up for you." Her eyes were vacant as she spoke softly. If father hadn't given his consent, how could Yunshu have come to sound me out? "Nyonyo, I can't hold on any longer. From now on, you'll have to walk this path on your own." I didn't understand what she meant, but I held her tightly, not daring to let go for even a moment. Yet, that night, I still fell asleep. When I woke up again, my stepmother had locked my eldest sister, who refused to comply, in her room, and my eldest sister began a hunger strike. Upon learning this, my father showed no concern. Instead, he slammed the table and said, "If she starves to death, I can at least give an explanation to Lord De." My stepmother, second sister, and eldest brother paid no attention to her at all. Only I remained, crouching outside her room day after day, pleading with my eldest sister to eat. But as I watched the meals being brought in and then taken out untouched day after day, my heart gradually sank to the depths. My eldest sister truly had no will to live anymore. Unexpectedly, on the very day before De Gonggong was to deliver the betrothal gifts, my eldest sister began to eat again, and had even become a reborn person. In my past life, I still ended up marrying Lord De. Later, when the fourth prince failed in the succession struggle, Consort Shu was implicated. Lord De died, and I held on for a few years outside the palace before eventually succumbing to illness. Elder sister explained calmly, but did not look at me. Second sister sneered. "I thought you had some backbone." Elder sister smiled faintly. "When a person is on the brink of death, fear devours all sense of pride. I am merely human, after all." The eldest brother stroked his chin, mentioning Eunuch De. "I actually have some doubts about your intentions. You were almost driven to death. Would you really be so kind as to help us?" The legal mother and father exchanged a glance, looking at her with full of suspicion. The eldest sister sighed. "Because I am a daughter of the Yun family, I understand the principle that when one prospers, all prosper. When one falls, all fall. In my previous life, just because my marriage to Eunuch De was discovered, the Yun family was also considered part of the fourth prince's faction, and the entire family was exiled. Gasps of shock echoed throughout the room. The entire family wore expressions of fear. The eldest sister said with a serious expression, "I was fortunate enough to be reborn. And I will definitely not let the Yoon family repeat the same mistakes. However, if father doesn't believe me, then it's better not to offend Chief Da." Father immediately waved his hand and said, "You're right, the Yoon family prospers and suffers together. In the future, Shua will become the empress. I will become the emperor's father-in-law, and Hua will be a young general. As the eldest daughter of the Yoon family, you absolutely cannot marry a eunuch. I will go and reject Chief Da. The rest of you, follow Lannis' arrangements." After the father and the other two had left, second sister shook the prescription in her hand and resumed her usual arrogant demeanor. "Yunlan, if you dare deceive me, I will make your life a living hell." Eldest sister curled her lips into a smile. Second sister, "You worry too much. Just try the prescription and you'll see." Second sister snorted coldly and stormed out, slamming the door behind her, once everyone had gone. I mustered up the courage to tug on eldest sister's skirt. "What about Nyonyo? How can Nyonyo help?" Finally, my eldest sister turned around, crouched down, and looked at me, her eyes red-rimmed. "If Nyonyo eats obediently, that's more than enough." I reached out and touched my sister's deeply sunken cheek. "It's you who needs to eat well. Nyonyo's heart aches for you." Tears immediately streamed down my sister's face as she held me tightly. "Nyonyo, your sister has come back to save you." I held my sister's emaciated body, yet my heart felt completely at ease. The reborn eldest sister seems like a completely different person. I couldn't understand what she was saying either, but I firmly believe one thing: she holds me, her younger sister, in her heart, at night. Eldest sister seemed to have a nightmare. She kept trembling and murmuring incessantly, "Don't touch me, don't, what is this thing? Take it away, please don't hurt her, she's only 6 years old, I'll go." Alright, 6 years old, was big sister talking about me? My heart couldn't help but ache. I nudged big sister's arm and held her even tighter. The next day, as expected, De Gonggong did not come to deliver the betrothal gifts. Only when it was completely dark did I finally let out a sigh of relief. But my eldest sister laughed. "Silly girl, don't worry, in this life, we will live well." Curious, I climbed onto the table and watched my eldest sister writing with a brush. I exclaimed in surprise, "Eldest sister, you actually know how to write." Our legal mother always said that my eldest sister and I, being born of a concubine, were not presentable and wouldn't allow us to learn to read. I never expected that after being reborn, my eldest sister would actually know how to write. And her handwriting was quite beautiful. My eldest sister tapped my head with her brush. "Don't just stare at me, you need to learn too." I pointed at the first character and chuckled. "Then what is this one?" My eldest sister's eyes deepened, and she smiled faintly, curling her lips. "This character is pronounced for." After teaching me to recognize the words on the paper, my eldest sister threw it into the brazier. I pondered silently. It seemed the words on that paper must never be told to anyone. Before bedtime, the old woman from my legal mother's side came by, bringing a chest of beautiful dresses and jewelry. The mistress said that starting tomorrow, both young ladies may have dinner in the main hall. "If you need anything, don't hesitate to speak up." Before, only our eldest brother and second sister were allowed to have dinner in the main hall. The two of us could only prepare simple meals in our own courtyard. I looked at my eldest sister in pleasant surprise, but she only thanked the servant indifferently. As soon as the old maidservant left, I began fiddling with my dress and jewelry. "Big sister, look at this, isn't it pretty?" Big sister gently touched my face with a heartbroken expression. Nyonyo might have to endure some boredom for a while. My heart stirred, and I immediately ran to the courtyard gate, reaching out to pull it. With a clattering sound, the courtyard gate was locked from the outside. I stomped my foot angrily. "Elder sister has helped them so much. Why are they still locking us up?" Elder sister sneered. "They're afraid what I said might be true, and they're also afraid it might not be. But don't worry, I'll find a way to get us out." In her eyes was a confidence and determination I had never seen before. My heart also calmed down. My elder sister and I began living a regular life. During the day, my elder sister taught me to read and write, telling me many stories she had never shared before. In the evening, the maid from my stepmother's side would take us to the main hall for dinner. On the first day, second sister ingratiatingly placed a chicken drumstick in eldest sister's bowl. "That prescription is truly miraculous. I've only used it for 2 days, and my waist has already slimmed down a full inch. My face is glowing white, and my body even gives off a faint, delicate fragrance. But my dancing skills are just average. Who should I go to for lessons?" Eldest sister took a bite of the chicken drumstick and pondered. I recall that dancer came from Pingle House and studied under Mistress Lotus. You could invite Mistress Lotus to the manor to teach you. On the 5th day, the legitimate mother dismissed the attendants and slipped a dark green bracelet onto each of my eldest sisters and my wrists, her face unable to conceal wild joy. They've actually unearthed an iron mine in the eastern mountain range. I've already sent people to cordon off the area, but with such large-scale excavation, it's hard to guarantee it won't be discovered. Lana, do you have a clever plan? My eldest sister smiled faintly. Build a village nearby. Have the workers disguise themselves as villagers during the day and mine at night, then they won't be discovered. That nobleman in our previous life did the same. He mined for a full 6 months before reporting it to the court. A month later, the emperor suddenly appointed the second prince as the crown prince, causing a stir throughout the court and the public. My father had pledged his loyalty early on, and as a result, he was directly promoted 3 ranks, with my eldest brother also being elevated to the position of chief of the Imperial Guards. The mansion was suddenly bustling with visitors, lively and full of activity. I stood in the courtyard, hopping up and down to catch a glimpse outside, but I couldn't see anything. Frustrated, I sat down under the doorway. Big sister, you shouldn't have helped them. They're about to get everything they want, and they even locked us in the courtyard. It's just too much. Big sister looked at the book in her hand, not the least bit annoyed. The higher they climb, the harder they fall. Let them be proud for a while. I pouted. You're speaking in riddles again. Staying in the courtyard all day is so boring. Big sister closed her book and raised an eyebrow. Don't say that, we're about to get out of here. As soon as the words fell, the courtyard gate was abruptly pushed open. Second sister walked in, radiant and glowing, yet wearing an expression of deep bitterness and resentment. You don't have to stay in this courtyard anymore. All of you, come with me. Lotus Lady of Pingle Lane is an eccentric woman. Second sister offered her real silver and gold to invite her into the mansion to teach dance, but she refused to go. But she made second sister guess riddles, teaching only when she guessed correctly, without charging a single penny. For more than 10 days in a row, second sister returned empty-handed. Second sister couldn't take it anymore and came back to ask eldest sister, who could indeed solve the riddles, but the Lotus Maiden came up with a new riddle every day, helplessly. Second sister had to call eldest sister to go to Pingle Lane together. I was curiously examining the gold and silver objects in second sister's room. Second sister suddenly looked over. Let's not bring her, she's in the way. My face flushed, and I awkwardly lowered my head. My sister's toes came into view as she wrapped an arm around my shoulder. There have been so many distinguished guests coming and going in the mansion these past few days. What if her clumsiness offends one of them? It's safer to keep her by my side. You're right, second sister said irritably. All right, father and mother have forbidden you from leaving the courtyard. Both of you change into maid's clothes and don't make a sound. Soon after, elder sister and I, dressed in maid's attire, followed second sister out the door. Second sister walked very quickly, and we soon arrived at Pingle District. Seeing that it was an acquaintance, Lady Lotus didn't stand on ceremony and immediately posed a riddle. It strips the leaves in autumn's chill, yet brings the blooms of spring at will. Guess one thing. The eldest sister immediately stepped forward and whispered into the second sister's ear. The second sister exclaimed excitedly, "It's the wind." Lotus Maiden chuckled softly. "Come in, the maid is waiting outside." Second sister eagerly followed her inside. After everyone had left, I turned to eldest sister and asked, "Eldest sister, what should we do now?" Eldest sister leisurely sat down and said, "Listening to music and enjoying the dance. Wouldn't that be delightful?" I imitated her and sat down, looking at the stage downstairs. It really is quite beautiful. Second sister practiced for 2 hours, and when she came out and saw us still sitting there, she was very satisfied. During dinner, the 3 of us didn't mention what had happened during the day, and no one asked about it either. The next day, my elder sister and I listened to music for another 2 hours. The third day was the same. By the 5th day, as soon as my second sister went in, I was about to sit down, but my elder sister lifted her foot and walked out. "Let's go, time to get down to business." I followed my elder sister to a calligraphy and painting shop. "Shopkeeper, I'd like to buy some paper and brushes to write a few characters. After mounting, I'll leave them here for sale. How about splitting the profits 60 to 40 in your favor?" The shopkeeper looked over. Despite our servant attire, he didn't look down on us. Instead, he smiled and said, "Deal, I'd never turn down business. Let me fetch them for you right away." The shopkeeper brought paper and a brush. The boss lady wielded the brush with a flourish, writing 2 lines of large characters. The shopkeeper's eyes lit up. Miss, your calligraphy is truly excellent. And the signature, the boss lady set down the brush. No need, I'm not a famous person. I only seek those destined to appreciate the writing. I'll come back another day to see the outcome. On the way back, I couldn't help but ask, eldest sister, will someone really buy that calligraphy? Eldest sister was momentarily stunned, then her gaze turned resolute. Absolutely. By the time we rushed back to Pingle Ward, second sister still hadn't come out. Eldest sister and I drank tea for a while longer, listened to some music, and didn't notice any flaws at all. After returning to the mansion, my eldest sister and I were changing clothes in the second sister's room. A maid from our legal mother's side came, and the second sister stopped her outside. Nanny Liu, is there something? Nanny Liu smiled flatteringly. Madam knows you've been practicing dancing lately and it's been hard on you. So she bought the finest rouge and powder and brought them over. And this coal, it's extremely precious. Madam spent a fortune and bought only 3 sticks. She kept one for herself and gave the remaining 2 to you. Second sister sneered. Look at your pathetic self. When I become the empress in the future, what treasures won't I have? Her, what's Tsuexiang holding in her hand? Nanny Liu replied, oh, it's just some rouge for the 2 young ladies in the West Garden, to show Madam's care. Oh, this rouge is from the same shop as mine. Second sister seemed to deliberately raise her voice. Yunlan may have done a good deed, but it's only what she ought to do. They're just 2 low-born daughters of a concubine. Are they even worthy of using such fine rouge? Nanny Liu hesitated. What do you mean? Second sister sneered. No need to see me out. They spend all day in the courtyard, putting on makeup and powder. Who are they trying to impress? Yes, yes, yes. Nanny Liu put down her things and left. Second sister walked in and looked at us disdainfully. Those words just now were meant for you. You must always remember your place. The affairs of the estate have nothing to do with you. Just do what you're supposed to do. Otherwise, mother and I have plenty of ways to deal with you. Having spent these past few days with my eldest sister, I had grown bolder. Hearing my second sister's words, I immediately opened my mouth to argue. But my eldest sister stopped me, her voice still gentle. Second sister is right. We returned to the desolate courtyard. My eyes reddened. Why, big sister, they treat you like this. Why do you keep helping them? The eldest sister didn't smile this time, but instead looked coldly at the tightly shut courtyard gate. Yunshu was right. The scenery here has nothing to do with us. We're leaving soon, and their good days are about to come to an end. That day, the second sister went in to learn dancing. Big sister took me to that calligraphy and painting shop again. At this moment, besides the shopkeeper, there were 2 men standing in the shop. The one in front was dressed in luxurious brocade robes, looking radiant and noble, clearly the master. The one standing behind was vigilant and serious, appearing to be a guard, though he was quite young, looking no more than 15 or 16. As soon as my elder sister and I entered, he noticed us. His pair of black bean-like eyes fixed tightly on us. The shopkeeper looked up at that moment. Ah, it's this young lady. This gentleman has taken a liking to your calligraphy and is willing to pay 100 taels. 100 taels. I drew a sharp breath, hearing this. The gentleman who had been looking down at the calligraphy raised his head and glanced over. Did you write this? The young lady nodded gently. Yes, my humble skills can only capture a fraction of Master Tsilin's charm. The young master's eyes lit up. Master Tsilin once instructed me in calligraphy. He is the teacher I admire most. I never expected someone else to appreciate his style. Your brushwork is profound. Might I seek your guidance? My elder sister stepped forward. It would be my honor. The 2 of them chatted while writing at the desk. The guard and I stared at each other, yawning out of sheer boredom. With almost 2 hours having passed, I was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. Yet, my eldest sister remained completely unruffled, answering the young master's questions in a calm and measured manner. It wasn't until the guard reminded them that the 2 reluctantly bid farewell, even making plans to meet again at the shop the next day to discuss calligraphy. As soon as we stepped out of the calligraphy and painting studio, I broke into a run. Eldest sister, hurry, we're running out of time. Big sister grabbed me by the collar. What's the rush? We haven't gone out for a stroll these days. Come on, big sister will buy you some treats. Big sister really took me shopping and bought crispy candy, pastries, honey, candied hawthorn. By the time we returned to Pingle Ward, it was almost dark. When second sister saw us return, she immediately moved to slap big sister. How dare you go out behind my back? You're asking for it. The eldest sister actually reached out and grabbed the second sister's wrist. Yunshu, I come here every day to practice dancing with you. What's wrong with buying some food for Nyo Nyo today? How dare you talk back? The second sister tried to pull away from the eldest sister's hand, but she had lost a lot of weight recently, as frail as a willow in the wind, and couldn't break free. Finally, my eldest sister shook her off. If we don't go back to the manor, Mother and Father will realize you snuck us out. With that, my eldest sister pulled me and turned to leave. You just wait. My second sister, fuming, strode past us and took the lead. At night, I was filled with worry. Eldest sister, how do you think second sister will deal with us? Eldest sister turned over and hugged me. The Plum Blossom Festival is coming soon, she won't have time to think about that. I counted on my fingers, only 5 days left. Second sister truly did nothing. Big sister and I continued to accompany her daily for dance practice. As soon as second sister went inside, big sister would go to the calligraphy and painting shop to meet that young master, conversing with him like a kindred spirit about everything under the sun. She would only say her goodbyes once the young master had had his fill, so she always returned a bit late. Second sister no longer threw a tantrum, but her eyes grew increasingly venomous. The day before the Plum Blossom Festival, second sister resentfully locked the gate of the small courtyard. Yunlan, and you little bitch, don't even think about getting out for the rest of your lives. Wait until I come back and make you pay. But eldest sister said to me, pack everything you want to take. We're leaving tomorrow. The next afternoon, father and the legal wife took second sister out of the mansion to the plum garden. Once the mansion quieted down, I looked at eldest sister, who was still practicing her calligraphy. Eldest sister, when are we leaving? Eldest sister patted my head. What's the matter? So eager to leave? I nodded firmly. Very, very eager. Everyone here bullies you. The eldest sister's gaze softened. Don't worry, I've already made all the arrangements. It wasn't until dusk began to fall that I understood how the eldest sister had arranged things. I saw that guard who stood like a wooden stake again, though he was dressed in all black. There was no mistaking those pair of eyes like black beans, so when he leaped into our courtyard, I immediately waved at him. Brother guard, have you come to rescue us? The guard stumbled slightly. You can recognize me. I nodded earnestly. The guard froze for a second, then threw down the large bundle in his hands and pulled off his face covering. All that effort for nothing. The eldest sister came out carrying a bundle on her back. Thank you, Brother Shun, for saving us. Guard Shun nodded slightly. You flatter me, Miss Yun. I am acting on the orders of the fourth young master. I curiously walked toward the large black bundle on the ground. What is this? My elder sister pulled me back. Don't look, young Master Shun. Please proceed. Guard Shun nodded, took out a water pouch from behind his waist, and sprinkled the liquid inside all over the corners of the courtyard. Then he was about to open the bundle on the ground. My sister immediately covered my eyes. Shun the guard whispered, the young master sent people to search the mass graves for a day and found 2 bodies that are about the same size as you. After completing everything, Shun the guard lit a torch and threw it into the courtyard. The flames licked and slowly began to glow red. My apologies. As soon as the words were spoken, Shun the guard, with one hand supporting my elder sister's arm and the other holding me under his arm, leaped over the wall with a single push of his feet. My heart was still pounding even after I was seated in the carriage. I don't know how long it was, but the carriage eventually stopped, and the fourth young master got in. He immediately pushed me aside and sat next to my eldest sister, Lana. My eldest sister raised her tear-filled eyes. Thank you for saving me, young master. The fourth young master's eyes were filled with heartache. Now that you've faked your death and escaped, no longer tormented by your family, you can start anew. Why then would you leave the capital to suffer the hardships of a wandering life? The eldest sister sighed softly. The Yun family is favored by the crown prince and is at its zenith. If my sister and I stay in the capital, it's hard to guarantee we won't be encountered. By then, it's better to be far away. The fourth young master suddenly let out a cold laugh. What crown prince? He's already been deposed, and because of the Yun family. What? The eldest sister's eyes widened, her gaze trembling slightly, looking startled. The fourth young master seized the opportunity to grab his elder sister's hand. Don't be afraid. I must say, your father is incredibly foolish. He holds considerable weight in second brother's heart. If he wanted to marry his daughter off to him, all he had to do was ask. Why go through all that trouble with the Plum Garden dance performance? Second brother was truly captivated and immediately begged father to bestow Yunshu upon him as his consort. Father, who had been gradually recovering his health, was so enraged that he coughed up blood. He kicked second brother to the ground and, without hesitation, declared Yunshu the second prince's consort. The elder sister exclaimed in surprise, the second prince's consort. The fourth young master nodded. Yes. That means the crown prince has been deposed. Why is that? The eldest sister asked in confusion. The fourth prince narrowed his eyes. Because Yunshu performed the famous dance of the late empress. After the late empress passed away, our father issued an edict forbidding anyone from performing this dance again. Actually, this matter can't be blamed on Yunshu. She hadn't even been born when the late empress died. Who knows where she learned it from? She's just unlucky. With her marrying second brother under such circumstances, one can imagine what her future days will be like. I was completely dumbfounded by what I heard. The fourth young master addressed the second prince as second brother and called the emperor father. Then doesn't that make him the fourth prince? But second sister clearly said that the fourth prince met a tragic end after failing in the succession struggle. So why is she getting so involved with him? Could it be? I was lost in thought. The fourth young master pulled the eldest sister into his embrace. Lana, please don't go. I will surely be able to protect you, the eldest sister sobbed. Lana is also reluctant to part with you, young master, but Lana also wishes to travel the world like Master Celine. Only then can the words I write come alive with spirit and charm. This is Lana's lifelong aspiration. I beg you, young master, to grant me this wish. The fourth young master closed his eyes for a moment. Enough. You were never an ordinary woman confined to the inner chambers. But I truly cannot rest easy with the two of you traveling alone. Let Shinxingji accompany you. If one day you wish to stop, remember to come back to me. There will always be a place for you by my side. After the fourth young master left, I quietly asked my elder sister, I feel the fourth young master has deep feelings for you. Why didn't we stay? My elder sister smiled and said, what is easily obtained can never compare to the preciousness of something longed for day and night, lost and then regained. Let's go, we'll just treat this as a sightseeing trip. With Shinxingji as our guard, my elder sister and I didn't have to worry about safety. It truly felt like we were just touring the scenic spots. When we passed through a city, we would stay for a few days, enjoying delicious food and listening to music. Gone was the previous apprehension. And life was truly pleasant and beautiful. In contrast, the Yun family was not faring well. Shinxingji had a carrier pigeon that always brought news from the capital. After the Plum Blossom Festival, the second sister returned to the mansion in a rage, intending to settle scores with the eldest sister. But the west wing had caught fire, leaving only 2 charred bodies. She went to vent her anger on Lotus Lady again, only to find that she had already disappeared without a trace. Second sister had no choice but to swallow her anger. With the downfall of the Yun family, the crown prince caused a state of panic, and the entire household grew tense. Fortunately, the iron mine continued to provide a steady stream of silver. To express their apology, the Yun family spent a fortune to pave the way for the second prince. When the second sister entered the prince's residence, she also brought a substantial dowry. After several such actions, the Yun family not only avoided the second prince's displeasure but also became more tightly bound to him. Moreover, after long-term use of medicine, the second sister's complexion became as radiant as peach blossoms, and her figure grew alluring, earning her the second prince's exclusive favor. The Yun family was more glorious than ever before. If things continued this way, the Yun family and the second prince would complement each other, potentially achieving great things. Unfortunately, no sooner had one matter settled than another arose. A secret report reached the palace. A group of people outside the city on East Mountain were acting strangely, posing as villagers by day and occasionally shouting at night, and they were all strong, able-bodied men, suspected rebels. His Majesty summoned the princes to discuss the matter, during which the second prince strongly recommended Yun how to lead the troops to quell the rebellion, guaranteeing victory in this battle. After all, he was a prince on whom His Majesty had placed great hopes, so His Majesty granted his request. Yun Hao, knowing it was a battle he was sure to win, didn't even bother to ascertain the situation before leading his troops overnight to Dongshan to quell the rebellion. But when he arrived at the destination, he was dumbfounded. There were no rebels at all. It was a privately operated iron mine run by his legitimate mother, and all those strong men were miners. Yun Hao knew he couldn't let the emperor learn the truth, so he decided to bury all the miners alive, passing them off as rebels to build his reputation as a young general. Yun Hao wanted to cover up the truth, but the men he brought with him refused to obey him, long before the truth was fully uncovered. The deputy general had already sent the news back to the capital. Just as Yun Hao had captured all the miners and was preparing to bury them alive, the imperial decree arrived. The Yun family concealed the iron mine and privately mined it for profit. This is the first crime. Yun Hao attempted to cover up his misdeeds, deceived the emperor, and treated human lives as worthless. This is his second crime. These two crimes are intolerable under the law of the land. His entire family shall be executed as a warning to others. The second prince, due to his negligence, was confined to his residence by His Majesty, completely losing his eligibility to contend for the throne. After reading the letter from the capital, Shinxingji couldn't help but sigh with relief. Fortunately, both young ladies have already escaped, or they would inevitably have been implicated. The eldest sister wiped her teary eyes and sighed softly. Yes, it's truly fate playing tricks. Fortunately, I didn't stay in Shangjing City. Taking in the daughter of a disgraced official would likely implicate the fourth young master. Hearing this, the wariness in Shinxingji's eyes faded slightly, but I secretly clicked my tongue in disbelief. What trick of fate was there? All of this was carefully calculated by my eldest sister, and this secret I must take to my grave. As winter gave way to spring, the emperor's illness worsened, leaving him nearly incapable of handling state affairs. The fourth prince was appointed in this critical moment, named Crown Prince and entrusted with the responsibility of overseeing the kingdom. At this moment, my eldest sister and I are sitting on a small boat in Jiangnan. Lana, I miss you dearly. If you are willing to return to the capital, I will send someone to fetch you immediately. After reading the letter from the Crown Prince, I leaned closer to my eldest sister, who was leaning against the boat railing, and whispered in a low voice. Eldest sister, aren't we going back yet? Aren't you afraid someone might take the position of Empress? These days, I've also come to understand my elder sister's intentions. After her rebirth, my elder sister was aiming for the Empress's position. Dealing with the Yun family was merely a convenient side task. My elder sister pressed my forehead. You silly girl, aren't you afraid of biting your tongue in such a strong wind? I chuckled, completely unconcerned. My elder sister glanced at Shinxingji, who was desperately rowing the oar. What's the rush? Only when everyone in the world knows that position is reserved for me will I be able to sit securely. After saying this, she stood up and leaned over the desk, earnestly writing a reply. Another month passed, and the emperor passed away. The fourth prince smoothly ascended to the throne, the new emperor ascended the throne, and the whole world celebrated together. Even the second prince, who had been imprisoned, was released and in theft as the Prince of Rui, ordered to immediately take his family and proceed to his fiefdom. While the court was full of unpredictable schemes and intrigues, the rear palace was desolate and quiet. The new emperor seemed in no hurry to fill his harem, as there was not a single consort. Seeing the harem empty for a month, the court officials grew anxious. They submitted memorials day after day, urging the emperor to hold a selection of consorts, and even pleaded with the Empress Dowager. Yet, each time the emperor earnestly agreed, he still took no action. Before long, rumors began to spread throughout the court and the imperial harem. Some said the emperor had a hidden illness, others claimed he had a preference for men, and there were even whispers that the emperor was actually a woman disguised as a man, that the Empress Dowager had deceived the late emperor to secure her position. As the rumors ran rampant, the Empress Dowager could no longer sit still and confronted the emperor in the imperial study. After a long, heartfelt conversation, the Empress Dowager finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the emperor had no major issues. He had simply fallen in love with a girl of no background. Fearing that rashly making her his empress would not silence the public's criticism, he had no choice but to leave the imperial harem vacant. But now, the emperor himself was nearly drowning in a sea of gossip. After much deliberation, the Empress Dowager decided to provide the girl with a proper background. Coincidentally, the Prince Rong's household had just lost their only daughter, so she arranged for the girl to be officially recognized as a member of the Prince Rong's family. So, while my elder sister and I were enjoying a performance in Jiangnan, the people from the Prince Rong's residence came looking for us, respectfully addressing my elder sister as the young lady. This time, my elder sister did not refuse anymore and returned to the capital under the name of Hualanshan, the eldest daughter of the Prince Rong's residence. A few days after staying at the prince's residence, the imperial edict appointing her as the empress arrived. Before entering the palace, my elder sister dismissed the attendants and said, "Little one, the prince and his lady are easy to get along with, but the deep palace is fraught with danger. It would be better if..." Before she could finish, I rushed over and hugged her. "No, I don't want to leave you, sister. I want to protect you." My sister relaxed her posture and gently stroked my hair. "All right. Ever since you were born, our father has never favored you, not even giving you a name. From today onward, you shall be my personal guard, and your name shall be Jinglan." I looked up in confusion. A guard? The eldest sister raised an eyebrow. if you want to protect me, you must first have the ability to protect yourself. After entering the palace, you will follow Shinsengji to learn martial arts. From now on, my safety will depend on you." My gaze sharpened, and I nodded firmly. The coronation ceremony was attended by the entire court, all coming to offer their congratulations. Even Prince Rui and his consort traveled a great distance to attend. When I saw my second sister again, I almost didn't recognize her. It seems she's still using that prescription. I once heard from my eldest sister that this medicine can indeed make women slender and beautiful, but the backlash is also extremely severe. Not only does it cause infertility, but it gradually consumes one's vitality and spirit, ultimately leading to an early demise. Seeing the eldest sister become the empress, the second sister was so shocked her jaw dropped in an instant. She understood everything that had happened before and recklessly rushed forward. "You wretch, it was you all along, Your Majesty, you've been deceived." "She is," but before she could finish, Prince Rui kicked her to the ground, grabbed her head, and slammed it hard against the floor. "This foolish woman has offended the Empress. I beg Your Majesty to forgive her crime." The eldest sister spoke calmly. "The princess consort appears to be suffering from a serious illness. If you're sick, you should go get treated instead of coming out and frightening others." "Yes." Prince Rui wiped the cold sweat from his brow and immediately dragged the unconscious second sister out. After the ceremony, the eldest sister went to pay her respects to the Empress Dowager. Eunuch De came out to lead the way, his head bowed very low, his voice trembling slightly. "Your Majesty, please. The Empress Dowager has been waiting for a long time." The eldest sister nodded slightly. "Thank you, Eunuch De." After leaving Sinying Palace, I couldn't help but ask, "Eldest sister, did Eunuch De discover your identity?" "He previously." The eldest sister chuckled lightly. "My identity is legitimate, so he's the one who should be afraid. We have leverage over him. Having another informant by the Empress Dowager's side is a good thing." I quietly took note of it. That night, the Emperor came to the Cunning Palace. After talking for a while, the two of them walked hand in hand into the inner chamber. I was about to follow when Shinsengji suddenly appeared out of nowhere, blocking my path with his sword. "Little girl, come on, I'll teach you martial arts." I widened my eyes. "Now, shouldn't we be sleeping?" Without another word, Shinsengji grabbed me and started dragging me outside. "Consider this your first lesson. A personal guard doesn't sleep at night." What? The end.